Okay, so today I'm going to expand on what I talked about yesterday. The idea of a Canadian Compassionate Expeditionary Force, CCEF. Like I was saying yesterday, I only got about 200 listeners, but they're loyal listeners and they listen to what I say right away. So once I post something, I get those 200 listens within about an hour. And I post it all different kinds of times a day, so they're waiting for it. And some of them are responding. I won't tell you how. I won't tell you anything about that, actually. But they are responding, and I don't need a lot of encouragement to pursue this, but some encouragement definitely is helpful. So the vibe I got from the little bit of encouragement I got is like super good, and so I'm going to expand on the idea. First, I'm going to read something I wrote back in 2015, kind of as a follow-up blog to the original, and then I'll flesh it out after. Okay, so the Canadian Compassionate Expeditionary Force, mercy ships from heaven, hospital ships, university ships, intake ships, citizenship ships, the Canadian Navy, the many, the proud, the safe place to stand your ground. I probably would rather not use the word Navy anymore because it connotes, offensive violence, which I don't think I want to have a part of myself or as a country. I want to be the good guy, and I want my country to be the good guy, and I want us to be the place everybody wants to live and everybody wants to be a part of and everybody believes in, right? Basically, I want Canada to be what America once was. Okay, the American dream. It's going to be the Canadian dream, but right now we need to fix a lot of things in order to make the dream possible. But there's a lot of interconnected problems throughout the world, and if we start dealing with them in a logical manner, we can get through this. So I've completely ignored my blog here. I'm just going off what I want to talk about, basically. So, okay, so Canadian Compassionate Expeditionary Force. So essentially a repurposed Navy, less emphasis on weaponry, especially offensive weaponry. There'd still, of course, it's a force, so there would still be weapons for self-defense and, to defend our interests when they are threatened. But the idea of just like going and wholesale bombing places, no, I'll leave that to jackasses like Netanyahu. If he thinks he can solve a terrorism problem by bombing it to death, that hasn't worked out for the Americans, and I don't see how it's going to work out for him. Until he resigns, I don't see an end to that conflict. Resigns or is shown the door, But what I would be trying to arrange right now, if I was in charge of things, is to get, the beginnings of this Canadian Compassionate Expeditionary Force to the shores of Israel. There's obviously going to be people spilling out into that water to try to get out of that situation. The humane thing to do is to go get them. And, maybe we can't make all of them Canadian. Maybe we can't, maybe we don't have the space. Maybe we don't have the resources. But we can go there and we can help them, and we can process them there. If someone's going to be a terrorist problem, you can figure that out before they even touch Canadian soil by going out and taking the initiative of going there. Okay? But if you wait for them to spend every last penny they've got to get on a rubber dinghy to cross an ocean to get here, then, you know, there's a good chance they'll die before they get here. And nobody deserves that. But the fact of the matter is, even just from a cold-hearted, self-interested point of view, there are a ton of valuable, excellent, hardworking, apparently God-fearing people who are being displaced by an out-of-control autocrat backed up by racist colleagues. Nobody's saying Hamas didn't really commit an act of war there on October 7th. That definitely deserved a response, but purely from a eye for an eye point of view, the 1,400 people tortured and killed on October 7th have been avenged by about 10 or 12 times now, I think. So I don't know how you're going to kill an idea with bombs, Hamas. I don't know. The fact that Netanyahu supported Hamas in the past when it suited him makes me feel like he's not the guy that should be leading this charge. It makes me feel like he should be stepping down and letting somebody with an idea other than bombing the shit out of everybody for an idea to take on the future of Israel. But that's just my 2 cents on all that. I do not like Mr. Netanyahu. But yeah, basically, I would join up tomorrow if it was for the Canadian Compassionate Expeditionary Force. But just for the plain old Navy, running around with guns and, flirting with death without having a greater cause, as the backbone of the operation. I don't know. When I was a child, when I was 6 years old, my mother had me memorizing scriptures. I was raised as a Christian fundamentalist, otherwise known as a Jehovah's Witness. I was taught, and this is a fact, in World War II, Jehovah's Witnesses were executed right alongside the Jews. The difference was the Jehovah's Witnesses were given the option of just denouncing their faith. So some did. They denounced their faith and they were freed. They got to live. Others were true believers, though. They really, really bought into the Bible, and they felt that renouncing their faith was beyond the pale. It was like life wouldn't be worth living without their faith. And so they were executed. So I was raised with that as sort of the ideal to something to be admired. It's a little bit ridiculous. I don't believe in any religion now. I think religion itself is a huge source of violence and enmity around the world. I don't think it really pulls its weight as far as the amount of problems it causes in comparison to the amount of charitable acts it performs. But that's, again, my 2 cents on religion, period, across the board. Let's go get some good people and let's help them become Canadians. Let's build a new city called Big Tree, Ontario, 500 kilometers northeast of Thunder Bay. We can put millions of people there. Millions. We can build a city that rivals Toronto in size. Let's do it.